the GM PD-4104 of 1953. In its time, it was called the most dominant and influential bus ever. But as no bus lasts forever, how would GM design its successor better than what was considered almost perfect? Their approach was to be evolutionary rather than typically being revolutionary. This is the story of the GM PD-4106, the bus that incrementally built upon perfection. Hi, this is Jeffrey. Now, back in 1953, General Motors introduced the PD-4104 intercity highway bus. It became an immediate sensation, and over 5,000 were built. However, by the end of the 1950s, a refresh was needed, and so in 1960, General Motors introduced its successor, the PD-4106. Now, this bus was not going to be a huge leap in bus design. It was going to be incremental. It was not going to be like going from the GM old look to the new look. No, this bus was going to be more evolutionary rather than revolutionary. It's a really fascinating story, so let's get started in learning about the GM PD-4106. The GM PD-4104. Introduced in 1953, it was to become, in its time, the most dominant and influential intercity bus ever built. Known for its lightweight aluminum construction, innovative air suspension, powerful Detroit diesel 6-71 engine, and advanced features such as air conditioning and optional restrooms, it was considered revolutionary for its time. It featured a highway traveler design that influenced later models and became a dominant, fuel-efficient choice in the marketplace, with a total of 5,065 units built. But as the new decade approached, the 4104 would need to be updated and replaced with a newer and improved model. So, how do you supersede an icon? GM took the intelligent approach. Go slow and correct any known weaknesses while improving upon its many strengths. Let's now take a brief look at some of the strong points and weaknesses of the PD-4104. The 4104 was a major styling sensation when it was introduced in 1953 and was still a styling leader 7 years later. But some features had become outdated trends, such as single headlights, smaller windows, and the rounded front and back. The 4104 used the revolutionary air bellows suspension, which regulated ride firmness based on load, while most other coaches continued to be suspended on heavy steel springs. But the 4104 also had its HVAC system powered by a separate pony motor, a small gas engine that sat in the forward luggage bay, which was noisy and complex, as its Detroit diesel 6-71 engine didn't have the capacity to power any additional equipment. While the 6-71 engine was a real game changer for its time, it was on the slow side by the end of the 1950s. After much careful and steady design and planning, in 1960, GM had its new replacement bus ready. And what would this new bus be? It was the PD-4106. Everything from ride quality to finishing to a new engine was upgraded in the 4106. While its improvements may have appeared to be subtle to the typical passenger, it was a totally new bus in nearly every way. Now, let's take a look at some of the basic specifications of the GM PD-4106. Number 1, length is 35 feet. Number 2, width is 96 inches. Number 3, height is 10 feet 1.5 inches. Number 4, empty weight is about 24,000 pounds. Number 5, passenger capacity is nominally at 41, but could be configured for between 38 and 45. Number 6, engine is the 2-stroke Detroit diesel 8-71 of 272 horsepower, but Greyhound had them governed at 235 horsepower and 1,650 RPM. And this engine could now power the air conditioning. And finally, number 7, top speed is 80 miles per hour. Furthermore, riding quality had been improved over the 4104 through the use of a new low-frequency air spring. While retaining the basic appearance of the popular predecessor model, a number of interior improvements and exterior styling refinements have been made. Stacy Marie Martinelli, who was a passenger comfort consultant on the 4106 project at GM, explains.
Changes have been evolutionary rather than revolutionary, providing continuity of styling. Interior appearance has been upgraded through relocation of reading lights, redesigned package racks, and the development of a new aircraft-type seat of lighter weight. Seats are now mounted to an anodized aluminum track-type mounting rail for easier relocation. New front end and side styling with 6-inch flutes instead of the usual 3-inch, combined with larger windows, has produced a cleaner design, making the coach look lower and more streamlined.
Additionally, more horizontal lines are in evidence. The lowered roofline, the wider destination sign, the trim molding below the windshield, the broader belt all contribute to the effect. And the rear side emergency door would be replaced by a window that could be used as an emergency exit. Marker lights are built right into the crown panel. Clearance lights have been restyled to fit the new roof contour. Dual headlights and turn signals are grouped horizontally. And a broad flat panel between headlights provides space for multiple licensing. Its main competitors, the flexible Flexliner and the MCI MC5, would not even come close to the sales of the 4106. In total, 3,226 PD-4106 intercity buses were built, including 43 imported to Australia, of which 8 were ex-Greyhound, all being converted to right-hand drive by Ansair in Melbourne. In 1966, with operators looking for more underfloor storage space, GM basically lifted 7/8 of the 4106 body by 1 foot and created the PD-4107, the GM Buffalo. The 4106 truly was the bus that went beyond perfection. And so there it is, the story of the GM PD-4106, the bus that improved upon its predecessor, which itself was considered nearly perfect. I personally really like the look of the 4106. So have you ever ridden on one of these buses or driven one or worked on one in some way? Because that would be very interesting to hear. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at the GM PD-4106. And as always, thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.